Hey guys, Justin here with JHart Modelworks, coming to you with what should be the last bench update for Monogram's 1969 Dodge Super Bee that we're building as a memorial build for Mitchell over at Insomnia Hobbies. This thing is so close to done. I really thought I was going to have it finished this week, and I just don't. The next video, hopefully, will be a Sunday Model Cars and Coffee where I'm going to have this thing finished. It's just going to depend on everything that's going on, and I'll tell you about that in a second. It's just going to depend on what all I get done this weekend, to be honest with you. Now, before I get into all the heavy stuff, you may notice that Frank is over there. There's a reason for that. So Frank had to take a couple of months off, and he says that he kind of slowed down in the momentum of his channel. I find it hard to believe because his channel is amazing, and this man is an amazing wealth of knowledge. Fantastic videos. Everything he does is ridiculously long. It's not like Will Patterson long, but it is very long because it's so full of nuggets of knowledge. Great builder. So after you finish watching this video, jump over. I'm going to put a link down to Frank in the bottom. Jump over and check out Frank over at Frank's Modelworks. You will not regret it. He's the current video right there that I was just watching. I just finished watching it. He's doing some really cool paint on a Mustang that he's doing for the Blue Ox Street Machine Group build. It's a fantastic color. I mean, just absolutely gorgeous. He also talks about doing tires. Lots of great info on detailing tires. So he's decaling up the decals on the side, which I hate doing. I can't stand it. He's got some great info there. He's also talking about putting some wear into your tires, but doing it with a matte varnish type thing. I didn't get a whole lot of details. I'm still a big old school fan of sanding the crap out of your tires with like a really low grit, like 120 grit, really rough sanding stick. But it looks really cool. It's a very cool alternative for the guys who may not want that really worn look, because it does give a really worn down look to the tire. So if you're wanting something more of a brand new tire look, but not like shiny, he's definitely got a great set of tips on this video as well. So definitely go check it out. Now, the sad stuff. We noticed that there is an issue with our older cat's jaw. And it definitely looks like it was out of alignment. She wasn't cleaning herself properly, so we took her to the vets. They said it is definitely fractured. And there's a lot of things that could be causing it to be fractured. And one of them could be that she has bone cancer in the jaw. So we did a bunch of tests, and we ended up taking her from a vet to an animal hospital for more tests. And they've determined that little Miss Yang does indeed have bone cancer, that it has spread into her face. And there's really just not much that we can do for her other than just help her along. So this Saturday, that's what we're going to be doing. Probably about the same time that this video goes live, we're going to be at the animal hospital saying goodbye. So depending on how I feel for the rest of the weekend will really depend on how much more of this I get finished, but it's really close. So I will try to push through it and finish it up so that I can do a final video on it next week, and then we can get on to something else. We've got, a potential buddy build with Mike from Mike's Miniature Motors coming up. The Ferrari SP2s, that's going to be a blast. If he's ready, we're going to get started on that. If not, there's also a video that I want to do. I want to do a review on the new airbrush that I picked up, the Harder and Steenbeck Infinity 2024. I've got the 2-in-1 version. Absolutely fantastic brush. I love it, and I've only used the 2.5 millimeter needle. I haven't even used the 4 yet, but it's like a 4.4. So I definitely want to get a video on that brush as well. So let's go ahead and stop the rambling, because I have rambled and shared way too much personal stuff. So we can get this camera flipped around and take a look at where we're at with the build. Alright guys, so as you can see, we are so close to being done with this build, it is not even funny. I was hoping to get it all wrapped up this week, and I just did not have enough time. Interior is completely finished. We have added in the headliner, because this is one of those kits where Revell puts the giant hole in the center of the glass, and then they put your headlight lenses in the center, which means when you put it in there, it leaves a giant hole in your roof. So I just covered that with some clear acetate after making a template for it. We painted that all up in our German gray. As you can see, we have a dome light in there, which I sanded down to get it thinner than the one that I put in the Firebird. It looks a little better. And we have some 3D printed up sun visors, which really helps to hide the seam on the front edge of the headliner. Once we got the interior done, we got the interior glued up in there, we were able to get our chassis on. And I told you guys that I was having some fit issues with this engine, so I did not glue the chassis in place. I pulled it out, which gave me enough room to wiggle the engine in between after I had put some glue down on the engine mounts, so I could press down on the engine and get everything glued into place. And we do have it in there. It sits in there correctly. It sits in there low enough that we can drop in our air cleaner. And we can still get the hood to go down and sit correctly. Now, before we put the chassis and the engine in, we did take care of the antenna. So during the body prep, I drilled a hole right here, and this is a pin. I forget what type of pin this is. Chris from CD Scale Models sent me some of them, and they were really great for doing antennas with. So I just ran that in, put a whole bunch of CA glue down there to hold it into place. There is an upper part for this that I've 3D modeled and printed. You're probably not going to be able to see them very well, but those tiny little things right there need to get chromed up, and then I will drop one in right on top of that antenna so that we'll have the base for the antenna on there. And it won't just look like a metal pole sticking out of the body. It'll look more realistic. We've added in some red and black wire to our battery. Now the red wire runs all the way back through. The black wire actually only runs to around this corner of the battery because there's some molded in detail. So it just runs right alongside there. And I just basically met this battery terminal up with the wire that's in there. We have 3D printed in our master cylinder and our brake booster. We've added in some heater hoses, gotten that taken care of. We've added a small Great Details photo etch. It's actually an oil filler cap, but the large size they have works perfect for radiator caps. And then we added a little bit of black wire. Come on, camera, focus. Add a little bit of black wire under there and just run it down the side for our overflow hose. We have made a lower radiator hose, which we've run up to the water pump. I do not have the upper radiator hose in just yet. Also, since we don't have the fan on the pulleys from off the sprue, I 3D printed up a dual electric fan and added that into the radiator. So all of that's looking really good. We do still need to add some decals to the engine bay, and because I think there may be one for the battery. I know there's one somewhere around here. And then I'm debating on whether or not to put the decals on the air cleaner. So looking at my research, this 440 6-pack, this is actually for a later year version of the 6-pack air cleaner. This is not the right one. But they do include numbers 11 and 12. And these are supposed to go like right here and right here, I believe. So I don't know if I want to put those two yellow decals on here or if I just want to leave it clean and green. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. And then parts-wise, the only things we have left are chrome parts. And we're in the process of rechroming those. I just haven't gotten far with that. Take you on shaky cam for a bit, but that's all of these pieces need to be resprayed in chrome. I've got them in primer right now. So I need to do some gloss black, and then I will probably do some of the Duralumin Tough. That's what I tend to use for chrome. And I'm also trying to work out how I'm going to do some of this masking, because that center is supposed to stay black all the way across here, a little bit right there, and a little bit on the outer edge on both sides. Those are all supposed to stay black, and then the rest of this gets chromed. The tail lights get something similar. I know that center section is black where the Dodge letters are. The Dodge letters are silver, and I can't remember. I need to go do some looking. But I think there's black all the way around like the headlight trim. So I need to go look at that and see. But those are going to be really tricky to try and mask and paint. Another thing that we have going on is that we have cut the exhaust off way back here. We've left just a little bit of a nub on where their exhaust tips are. And that's just to give me a glue point. I have 3D modeled and printed after a couple of attempts. This was my first attempt, and these were way too big. But I have 3D modeled and printed up some of the rectangular Mopar exhaust tips. So these were an option on the 69. The standard would be just the dump down at the end that the kit is molded with. But these should go right over that tip. Gluing right about there. And then they're going to stick out just slightly past the bumper, which is, from what I can tell, that's about where they should be. They should stick about right like that. But I have a set of those ready to be chromed as well. This is my spare set. I just kind of stuff them onto a Q-tip. So those will get chromed up. So after that, we're going to do our custom license plates. We'll do our registration sticker, and we'll wrap this one up. So like I said, we are so close. It is almost finished. I'm going to do my best to get it finished this weekend. Just kind of depends on what all we have going on with the cat, though. So that's going to be a wrap for this video. Thanks for hanging out with me and checking out the build progress. I always appreciate you guys watching the videos. And as always, I will catch you on the next one.